This tank took a massive beating while I was away for the week. So today I'm going to be going through the process of getting it back in check and then taking you guys along with me. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is clean up the lily pipes. So you can see the lily pipe there has a bunch of green algae on the base of it. And I also added some new fish to this tank. I forgot to mention, we have about 7 fork-tail rainbow fish. I'll get better pictures of them when there's no algae, but there's one right there, as well as 6 feather fin rainbows. So I need to clean up both the tubes here, the intake and the outtake, as well as the CO2 diffuser. So that's what I'm gonna start with. But other than that, here's the best example of it. We have blackbeard algae all over the place, as well as dust algae, but that's easily taken care of. I've got some green spots on the front glass too, right there. It's not gonna focus on them. And then we also have this fuzz algae. You can kind of see it on the glass there, but that'll all be easily scraped off. But yeah, this tank is just a complete mess. I did some water testing and I have literally no phosphates in the water at all, so I think that could be causing a lot of my problems. So I mixed up some fertilizer today and I'm going to start adding that every second day to the aquarium to try to get things back in check. I'm going to be using hydrogen peroxide to get rid of the algae. This time hopefully I won't kill my whole tank. Last time I did it on this tank, everything turned out fine. So I'm going to be draining the water down probably to about this level. So there will be about 1 inch of water left in the aquarium. And yeah, so it's going to be quite the task, but I'm going to take you guys along with me. So I'm currently cleaning the lily pipes. Now I didn't have a container big enough to clean these guys, and what you're supposed to do is take some bleach and some water and put them in that, but I just used a plastic bag. Now I'm being very careful, it's in a bucket right now, just in case, but I'm leaving those in there for a little bit so they can get taken care of by the bleach to get all the blackbeard algae and that kind of stuff off them. My diffuser is also in a bleach solution getting cleaned off as well. Now probably the easiest portion of this, which you guys have probably seen a bunch of times, is scraping the algae. And you can kind of see this here, but this is a fluval algae scraper, I don't know. But yeah, it makes scraping algae super easy. So the water is all cloudy right now because I just finished scraping off the glass as well as moving some plants around. So for starters, we have the Rotellomacrandra in the same spot it was before, but we moved the Limnophilia sessiflora I added a while ago, which is back there. You gotta focus on it, you can barely see it. But that's about it for plants. Oh, we also added some Eriocolin cinerum to the aquarium as well. But now I'm gonna go drain the tank down and then start treating the aquarium with hydrogen peroxide. So I just finished draining the tank way down. You can't really see what we're looking at right now, but that little piece of wood right there is completely covered in blackbeard algae. So for this process, I'm using hydrogen peroxide like I mentioned earlier, and I'm gonna try to use about 40 milliliters of it to take care of this. So right now I've got 10 and I'm using a syringe to apply this. You just want to apply it right on the BBA. It just takes a couple drops. And when you fill up the tank, your tank will start bubbling, and that's because hydrogen peroxide is a very unstable molecule. It's an oxidizing reagent. So what will happen is it will break down into hydrogen gas and oxygen gas and create a bunch of bubbles in your water. So I'm just spot treating it, placing it wherever there is algae, just a tiny bit. You know, there's a bunch here under the water. I'll get a close-up for you guys in a second so you can see all the bubbles it's creating, but I'm gonna go back tomorrow and give this tank another water change and probably treat it with another 10 or 20 milliliters of hydrogen peroxide. So you can see right there, that's where I was placing it under the water, and you can see all the bubbles forming. And you want to do this during a water change. I'm doing a really big one. So I'm just going to finish up doing this really quick because there isn't a lot of water in the aquarium. And then I will show you guys once the tank is filled up. Now it does take a bit to work, but I will update you guys over the next couple of days. So here you can see the diffuser going, and you may be able to see a couple little white patches on it, and that's what completely dead blackbeard algae looks like. So it goes through a couple stages when you treat it. Now bleach just completely kills it. You can't go dumping bleach in your tank, so you have to use hydrogen peroxide. So this portion here was the portion that was out of the water that I was treating, and as you can see, it's a dark red. Now if you look down lower, well, you can't really pick it up as much on camera, but it's a lot less red and it has a lot more gray around the sides, and this is because it was underwater. There's not too big of a difference, but it's just, it works a lot more effective on the algae that is outside of the water than the algae is underwater. But basically it turns red and then purple, and then it'll turn almost a gray color. And then at that point, your fish or your cleanup crew may start eating it and take care of it for you. So it has currently been about 3 days since the last videos were taken. The day after, I did another water change on the tank behind me, the 24, as well as treated all the algae with some more hydrogen peroxide. So I'm just gonna get up close in just a second and show you guys what the algae looks like now, the different stages of blackbeard algae dying, and as well as how the rest of the tank looks. Let's jump into it. So let's start up here where you can see some super dead blackbeard algae. It is super bright white, and that's because where it is right at the top of my tank, so it was out exposed to the hydrogen peroxide the longest, and that's why it is the most dead. And then over back here we have some more, which was slightly exposed for a shorter amount of time, so it's a bit more of a purple color. And then down here at the bottom we have the portion that was mainly underwater. So you can see it's kind of like a dark purple or red. So I'll probably go in and treat this stuff maybe one more time to make sure I can get rid of it. So the tank is looking much better now since all of the maintenance is done. The fish, I would say, are happy, but I'm honestly not sure. After the second water change, I went to feed my dog dinner that night, and her dog bowl was just down beside the tank, but there was a fish that I guess jumped out of the tank and landed in her food dish. And then when I was cleaning the lily pipes, I found a dead threadfin rainbow, but I had just got it, so I guess it didn't acclimate well. But the rainbow fish that are in here are absolutely stunning. You can see a threadfin right there. I'm eventually planning to move these guys down to the 40 breeder when they grow out a bit more. They're a fish I've been wanting to keep forever, but they may get a little bit too big for this tank. I'd eventually like to move all these guys over, which I probably should do soon, honestly, if they keep jumping out of the tanks. We are now down to 6 Gertrude rainbows, or not Gertrude, forktail rainbows, sorry, and 5 featherfin rainbows. But yeah, that's about it for the fish. But as you can see, the iridescence on these thread fins is stunning. I can't wait till I get the big, beautiful fins on them. The plants in this tank are growing great. There you can see some Rotala mini butterfly that I have not been able to get going for the life of me, except when I put it in this tank. And then behind it, you can see Ranunculus inundatus, which I'm actually loving. I have it over here as well, and along the side here. Now there was a couple leaves with algae, but I just removed those easily, and I still have some dense bushes. And then eventually in this tank, I'm really hoping to get the pinnatifida going, the Hygrophila pinnatifida. And as well as there's a little Anubias nana. It's super dark back there, so I don't know if you can see it. I can't zoom in anymore. I'll up the exposure, but you can see the little green lights there. Yeah, that's the Anubias nana petite. I've just got a little chunk in there. Now the Bucephalandra mini coin didn't do great. As you can see, most of them are dead. That happened fairly quickly. And then here was a Bucephalandra Capua's Ghost, I think is how it's pronounced. But yeah, it didn't do great either. And then back here, over back here, you may be able to see a little tiny bit of green, and that is what's left of my Java Fern Windalob I got. That stuff also melted completely back, and I think the culprit for all these plants dying is probably ammonia. That'll be my best guess. It's a new tank in this soil. I'm not sure exactly how much it leaches, but I'm pretty sure it leaches quite a bit of ammonia to help cycle the tank. Hopefully they bounce back. Honestly, they probably won't. Maybe the Java Fern, but I think the Buse are pretty much gone at this point. But I've ordered in some new types, so there should be a video coming up on that soon. But anyways, guys, this was Calum's Fish Tanks. Thank you so much for watching. Happy New Year. Peace.